Well, the collapse might be officially on, as 3 straight losses for the Eagles have Philly fans in a panic, and this loss to the Chargers is the most painful one yet, as even though Vic Fangio's defense came into play and Nick Sirianni and the offense actually showed some improvement, Jalen Hurts turned in probably the worst showing of his entire career, causing some Eagles fans to turn on QB1. And his performance, along with the rest of the offense, revealed deeper issues going on in Philadelphia. And that includes A.J. Brown, as several crucial, uncharacteristic mistakes by him cost the Birds as well. So let's dive into the truth behind the Eagles' loss to the Chargers, starting right now. Guys, I hate to say it, but it might be happening again. I mean, I don't want to believe it, and look, it's definitely not a sure thing, but there's no denying that this is really starting to feel like 2023 all over again.
No. Wait.
I mean, you can clearly see the parallels. Like, the Birds just lost their 3rd straight game on Monday Night Football on the West Coast by 3 points, and it's a game that, looking at how it played out, they definitely should have won. And if you rewind back just 2 years to 2023, around this same time, the Birds took their 3rd straight loss by 3 points on the West Coast on Monday Night Football to a Seahawks team that they definitely should have beat. So, again, this loss really stings, and it also feels really familiar.
No, not again.
Yeah, that one sting. We know we gotta be better. We continue to beat ourselves and not doing the little things right, not focus on the details.
We got this long behind flight we gotta get on. That sucks. It's a loss like this, but gotta restart. We got the Raiders coming up this weekend, so we just gotta make that happen. Look at them, watch some film, and just keep building.
Yeah, it's frustrating. A lot of turnovers, both sides of the ball. Just felt like it was a bouncing ball of just stuff going on during the game, and just some going our way, some not going our way, and just at the end we had a chance and it just didn't work out.
You know, that one stinks. That one stinks. I think at the end of the day, we had some turnovers in this game, uncharacteristic of ourselves. And, at the end, every time it's going to come down to coaching well enough and executing well enough. I thought the defense did a lot of good things. I thought the offense moved the ball on a really good defense, but, we didn't finish. Kicked a lot of field goals and had some turnovers. So hard to beat a team on the road when you're not finishing drives and getting 3 points. And I got to take that on myself.
No question about it, this is a super tough loss for the Eagles for multiple reasons. I mean, again, losing 3 in a row is really tough, and it's only made worse by the fact that any real chance that they have at the 1 or 2 seed in the NFC is really starting to slip away at this point. But also, despite their loss on Thursday, the Cowboys are still right on the Eagles' heels, and all it takes for them to beat out the Eagles for the NFC East title is to win out combined with 2 Eagles losses. Or in other words, basically, if the Cowboys win 2 more games than Philly in the last 4, they win the East. But it goes beyond just the standings, because I think this loss, very similarly to last week, shows just how deep the Eagles' issues truly are. I mean, it's no secret that Kevin Patullo and now Nick Sirianni have copped the majority of the heat for the Eagles' struggles this season. And don't get me wrong, I'm not excusing them, and I'm not saying they don't deserve any fault for this game, but I just feel like there's absolutely no way that you can come away after watching that game and say that that loss was on Patullo, Sirianni, and the play calling. I mean, at the end of the day, the players simply did not execute. If they do execute, they win this game. And that starts with none other than QB1 himself, Jalen Hurts. I mean, just watch this film breakdown from Emmanuel Acho.
I'm going to start with maybe the worst play of his career, the interception, turn fumble, recovery, turn fumble. What the hell's happening here? Okay, here's what you missed. Now, you saw that. Watch what you missed. There was a touchdown on this play. Look at the slot receiver. I believe it's Jahan Dawson, number 2. He's going to run a beautiful double move, inside move rather. He's open. It's a touchdown in the league. The whole middle of the field is wide open. Instead, it's a pick. And it's a pick because we don't see a dropping defensive tackle. And that pick turns into a fumble recovery. And then you fumble too bad, y'all. Now you're going to see zone coverage. Zone coverage. Bro, you just telegraphed it. You're looking at it. Then you pat the ball. DB don't even get into a pedal, but here's what I want y'all to see. Jaylon ever so slightly, I'm going to zoom in on him. He ever so slightly passed the ball. Watch this. That subtle pat, I'm going to give it to you beforehand. Boom. That subtle pat before he throws it It gives the defensive back the opportunity to break on the ball. This is the most infuriating one to me because a lot of people are going to ignorantly blame A.J. Brown. Oh, that's a drop. Why the hell did A.J. drop it? Let's take a better look at it. Jalen throws this ball so high that A.J.'s fully extended. The dude is worried about his career. You realize Zach Ertz got his whole knee blown up and blown out on this exact same ball from Marcus Mariota on Sunday. Jalen, get the ball down. Protect your wideout. Sure, could AJ catch it in theory, but do you want him to die? That's what we call a hospital ball. Now, here's the pick that lost the game. Hold on, we need time for this one. My dog threw a fadeaway jumper off his back foot on a 7 route. Like, who coaching that? You can't step into the throw. You got Goddard, a much easier and more simple throw right there. That's a completion. And you, like, throw a fadeaway jumper. Like, what kind of arm strength do you think you got? And what? Just a bad decision.
I didn't play enough. I didn't play well enough. Too many turnovers. Lots of opportunities, especially when we get on the other side of the 50, and I wasn't able to, get us in the box.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that this was probably the worst game of Jalen Hurts' entire career. I mean, he came into this game having thrown 2 interceptions all season. He threw just 1 in their first 11 games. So to throw not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions in one game and have 5 total turnovers is just absolutely insane. It's unheard of because, again, Jalen usually takes care of the ball pretty well, but regardless, it's just absolutely inexcusable. Especially that last pick to lose the game, because as bad as he had played the rest of the night, he and the Birds still had a great chance here to win the game. I mean, they were driving, they were in field goal range to tie it already. No, I'm not going to blame Sirianni or Patullo for throwing it here. I actually like being aggressive and playing to win and trusting the players, but Hurts just makes a terrible decision. Like, why throw this ball? Why do you do that? Why do you throw this ball fading away with pressure in your face when you literally do not have to? I mean, Goddard's right there. He's open. Like, there's just no reason to throw this ball. I mean, it honestly might be one of the worst decisions I've ever seen Jalen make.
I knew it was going to be a tight window throw. I'd have to watch the film to see it from the eyes, film's point of view. Ultimately, it's a play that I didn't make. He got a hand on the ball, and I didn't make the play.
The thing is, it wasn't just the turnovers. I mean, Hurts was honestly off all night long, and there's multiple times where he missed throws or was inaccurate or he just didn't hit the open guy. I mean, again, I think this was the worst game of Jalen Hurts' entire career, and it sucks because it was a really important game, but I also think it's important to note that this is just how it goes in the NFL sometimes. Like, quarterbacks are gonna have bad games. We've seen some all-time greats have games worse than this. And, this has been a really bad stretch of games for Jalen Hurts, and I'm not trying to excuse him. I mean, there's no doubt that his play and performance is becoming a bigger and bigger issue for this Eagles team right now. I mean, since the bye week, I think he's thrown 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. But also, there's this group of Eagles fans on social media calling for Jalen Hurts to be benched, and to that I say, you're absolutely insane. Like, come on, guys. We got to be better than that. This is the guy that just won Super Bowl MVP in February. He's the franchise quarterback. He's won a ton of games in his 5 seasons starting in Philly, and he's had many more great performances than ones like this. So I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but benching him now after this game would be a huge overreaction and just not a good decision. And at the end of the day, I still got a ton of confidence in him moving forward. That said, though, no question, he's got to be better, and I think this loss falls on his shoulders first, but it's not just on him, and that leads me to culprit number 2, as much as it hurts to say, that being A.J. Brown, who actually did defend Jalen Hurts after the game.
You can't just point a finger, I think all of us has our hand in that pot, and we trying to, get better. Obviously, he's a quarterback, he's gonna get a lot of, stuff for it, but we in this thing together, like I said, like today, the one across the middle, I'm more than capable to make that catch. So you can't put that on him. I mean, he was under pressure, and it ain't gonna be perfect. It's a tough game. It was a tough opponent. It's a tough night. So none of this stuff gonna be perfect. But we're just trying to do whatever we can do to make.
if there's a silver lining, this would be it. I mean, to hear AJ stick up for his quarterback like that after all the speculation about their relationship and just all the noise surrounding that this entire season, is definitely a good thing. And it's also great to hear AJ take full accountability for his shortcomings because, again, he made multiple key mistakes in this one, whether it was the drop on Hurts' third pick, like he mentioned there, that led to the interception. Now, Atcho said earlier that this was partially on Hurts because it was kind of a hospital pass. And, there's definitely some truth to that. Still, though, I think you just got to make that catch if you're AJ. I mean, it hit you in the hands. And then there was that drop in the end zone in the fourth quarter that likely would have been the game-winning touchdown, and what was a crazy throw from Hurts, and that was obviously huge. And then there were also a few other plays as well, one being the deep shot on the first play, and the other coming in overtime. And really just throughout the game, there were instances where AJ looked like he kind of made a business decision or just didn't give full effort. So overall, again, it definitely was not AJ Brown's best game, but he'll be the first one to tell you that.
And more than capable to make that kick. In the last one in the end zone, he just made a play at the right time, man. And that one hurt the most, because we've been setting things up all game, and he made a play, man. That one hurt me. I'm more than capable of making those plays. Jalyx trusts me in any situation. I made some plays, but I wasn't great when it mattered.
On the one over the middle, there was a guy bearing down on you. Did you sense that?
Yeah, it was just gonna be another tough one. I'm more than capable to make that grab for him. Like Jalyx he stepped up in the pocket. He under pressure. So like I said, I'm more than capable of making that one for him, man. That one hurt, but
Is this as bad as you felt after losses this year, personally?
Yeah, because I pride myself making them tough catches. Even in the one overtime, I'm running out of bounds, and I'm trying to get the one hand on it. And I'm more than capable of making all those catches. I pride myself on that. That's a part of the game. That's a part of the game. Like I said, I pride myself making those tough catches.
I got to give a ton of respect to AJ for taking accountability here. I mean, it's clear that he's taken this loss pretty hard. And, again, he's taken on a ton of the blame, and he also clearly wants to get things fixed. And I mean, I get it's easy for some fans to crap on him right now because of how, earlier in the season, he was expressing his frustrations on social media because he wasn't getting the ball and he wasn't putting up numbers. And now that he is finally putting up numbers, the Eagles are losing. But at the end of the day, it's clear to me that it's not just about the numbers for AJ. He wants to win. You can hear that in this press conference. And I just think after this loss specifically, where he knows that he screwed up, it's nice to see that he's hungry to make things right. That said, again, he definitely deserves a ton of blame for this loss. And overall, again, there's just no way that you can convince me that this loss is on KP and the play calling, because even though that wasn't perfect, I mean, if you watch this game, this loss clearly has to be on the players, specifically on offense. I mean, again, the turnovers were killers, there were drops, there were misplays, there were multiple key penalties that really hurt them. Again, at the end of the day, this game came down to execution. And once again, the Eagles just shot themselves in the foot. And it sucks because I feel like you kind of started to see the Eagles get some things going a little bit offensively. I mean, Saquon Barkley obviously broke that long touchdown run, but throughout this game, I mean, the run game wasn't perfect, but it looked much improved from what we've seen all season. I actually thought the offensive line did a good job run blocking for the most part. And again, Saquon had a few nice runs. And then in the pass game, I actually think there was some positive stuff. I mean, I felt like they went over the middle of the field a little bit more, and there was some play action under center stuff that worked well, and overall, it just looked a little bit more creative than what we're used to. Now, it wasn't perfect, the overall scheme and play calling still isn't great, but, at this point in the season, they're not going to fully get everything fixed, and I think, all things considered, this is definitely better than what we've seen. Now, apparently, Nick Sirianni actually reportedly got more involved in the offense this week, so maybe he deserves a little bit of credit for that. I don't know.
Little changes here and there. Nick obviously got a little more vocally involved, he said, before the game. Did you see any of that pay off? I know the not getting into the end zone was a big deal, but...
Yeah, I do. It still comes down to executing, regardless if he's involved or he's not involved. It comes down to executing and finishing drives, and multiple times early on in the game we didn't do that. And so but at times we got it going. And like I said, just executing these drives and finishing these drives.
Again, I think in terms of scheme and play calling, Monday night was definitely a little bit of a step in a positive direction, but don't get me wrong, this scheme still has plenty of issues, and Kevin Patullo is just not it as a play caller. So, it's still fire Kevin Patullo, even if it has to be after this season. Side note, hopefully we have a chance to bring back Shane Steichen because, there's rumors that he might be fired by the Colts. I don't know. That's just, something floating around out there. But yeah, overall, this offense continues to be a major issue. But again, I think for this game, easily the biggest problem was the execution from Jalen Hurts and from the other players, which shows these problems run deep. But it's also on Nick Sirianni and the coaches for not getting these guys ready enough during the week. I mean, these mistakes and penalties, a lot of that goes back to the preparation during the week.
I think we got to be clean during the week, in practice, walk through, everything's got to be clean, and, that's going to lead to being cleaner during the game. And, I don't think we're clean enough during the week.
Again, I think it's pretty clear at this point that these problems that the Eagles have are pretty deep. So, it's alarming at this point in the season. On the bright side, though, at least the defense played well. I mean, it truly was a bounce-back effort from them after getting dominated by the Bears last week on the ground. This week, they held the Chargers' run game pretty much in check, outside of Justin Herbert getting some nice scrambles. But in the past game, again, Herbert made some nice plays, but they ultimately held him to under 50% completion, just 139 yards passing. They picked him off once, they forced multiple fumbles on him and recovered one, and they sacked him 7 times. And multiple guys really stood out, possibly none more than Jordan Davis, as he had possibly the best game of his entire career, getting a career-high 6 pressures, along with 6 tackles, 4 hurries, 2 TFLs, and 1.5 sacks. I mean, he gave Justin Herbert fits all night long, as did edge rusher Jalyx Hunt, as he had a whopping 2.5 sacks last night to go along with 8 tackles and a forced fumble. I mean, again, it seems like Hunt is becoming a star before our very eyes. And then the surprise standout was defensive tackle Byron Young, as he stepped up in the absence of Jalen Carter to the tune of 8 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and a TFL. So huge shout out to him for making the most of his opportunity. And then you also had Zach Bond with 8 tackles and half a sack. And Nakobe Dean continues to be an absolute problem as a blitzer. And in this game, he had 7 tackles, a sack, and a big forced fumble on Justin Herbert. So again, this defense was physical with Justin Herbert all night long, and they really made it tough for him. And you also can't forget about the secondary, as Quinyon Mitchell was locked down once again, as the star second-year corner was targeted just twice and let up 0 catches and a 39.6 passer rating allowed. I mean, at this point, Q is clearly an all-pro corner, no doubt in my mind about that. And then you got Cooper DeJean, who balled out as well and blanketed Ladd McConkey all night long, and he ended the game with a couple impressive PBUs. So again, overall, it was a really good game for the Eagles defense, and they gave the Birds a chance to win, but again, like A.J. Brown said earlier in the season, they just can't keep relying on the defense to bail them out, and unfortunately, the offense just blew their shot once again. So now, here the Eagles are. They're 8-5, they still got everything in front of them, but it's not exactly looking great just based on these last 3 weeks. Now, they got the Raiders this week at home on Sunday. They opened that game as 11.5-point favorites, which, funny enough, that's the same as the Cardinals game back in 2023 when they lost at home during the collapse. So hopefully they don't repeat that, because, this is it. I mean, if they can't get things right in this game, we're likely headed for yet another collapse. But you guys can give me your thoughts down in the comments below. I mean, do you have any hope left that the Eagles can get things right, or do you think ultimately it's going to be another 2023 situation? Again, just give me all your thoughts down in the comments below regarding this loss. And also, if you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage coming throughout the rest of the season, then make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications. And also drop a like down below to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. And hit the hype button, because that helps me out a ton as well. And also, if you do want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.